$400,000 home, and you might be willing to pay $420,000 for it, but you don't want to pay $420,000 if you don't have to. And so you'll write an escalation clause that says, I'm going to write an offer for $400,000, and I will escalate $1,000, $2,000, whatever number you want. It doesn't matter. You get to pick that. I will escalate $1,000 or X, we'll say X number of dollars above the highest and best other offer. And so if somebody says, I will pay $405,000, and that was their best offer, that you'd pay $406,000 if you used $1,000 as the example. Somebody else says, I'd pay $410,000. Well, I'd pay $411,000. And you'll escalate that all the way up to your ceiling. So if you said my ceiling is $420,000, then if somebody wrote $419,000, you would write $420,000. Your offer of $400,000 would become $420,000. If somebody else wrote $420,000, now you got two $420,000 offers side by side because you didn't escalate to $421,000. Historically, back in the day, had really good success with those. We would be able to get a home for more than list price, but not as high as they would be willing to spend. And then there was a transition years back, I don't remember exactly when, but there was a transition where I had it happen to me. We wrote an offer with an escalation, and the other agent got back to me that they had spoken with the seller, and the seller said, at this price, we wrote for $400,000, but we would escalate to $420,000. They said, $420,000, we'll sell it to you. But we said escalation, and we said we would do this. Well, what your escalation clause does is it lays your cards on the table. And by laying those cards on the table, sellers and sellers' agents have gotten more savvy about it to say, if you're willing to pay $420,000, write the offer for $420,000 and let it stand, highest and best. So in that scenario, my buyer said, we want the house, we're willing to pay $420,000 for the house, great, $420,000, we'll do it, let's go. And that became a bigger shift across the board. For me, now I had that conversation, and my encouragement is we don't take escalation clauses. They get convoluted, they get messy, they have the ability to confuse people. Real estate is difficult enough without throwing additional factors in there. If you're willing to pay a little bit more to get the home you want, you need to do that now. Because you don't get usually a second bite at that apple. You usually get one. And if you don't use your best foot forward on that one, then you'll kick yourself because you find out it sold for $3,000 more and you would have paid $5,000 more, and then you're like, I would have done that. So that's why it goes back to the point of, if you would be willing to do that, put that foot forward and just make it happen.